Okay, this is Keith Boggs of Stonebriar Property Inspections, and this is the debrief for 7208 Los Padres.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
McKinney.
Leave that two-car garage.
First picture you see here is just a picture of the front of the house. Nothing necessarily wrong. That's just for the title page of the report. This is the approximate direction the house is facing, so it's almost directly south. And this is the temperature when I got here. It's still about that same temperature right now. Since it's not above 60 degrees, we can only test the heat. We can't test the air conditioning. If it's not above 60, then testing the air conditioning can actually damage it. So the air conditioning won't be tested, but I've got testing of the heating. You'll see here. This is your this is your meter right here, and your main shutoff. You also have another shutoff in the garage here, which your builder probably will show you. This is here for a few reasons. The state requires we put the location of the meter, and then I use it to verify supply leaks. So this little thing in the center here is called a low flow indicator, and if it's sitting completely still, then there's no water flowing, there's no leaks. But if everything is turned off in the house and this little thing in the center here is spinning around very slowly or spinning around at all, then that's how we identify supply leaks. Also, with newer houses, we can use this to look at the subsurface drainage, the drip irrigation. You've got several locations where you don't have stuff visually. So if you don't see, if there's not a leak under the ground, the only way to verify that these drip zones are working is to look at this low flow indicator. So basically, when I get to a drip zone, I'll walk wherever it's supposed to be. If I don't see anything, then I walk over to here and look at that indicator and see if it's spinning around. So it should be spinning if that drip irrigation is working. This is just the location of it. This is a thermal picture of your panel box. So when I first get here, one of the first things I do is look at the panel box because I'm going to do some thermal scanning of the house and of the electrical and stuff. And so I want to get like a benchmark. I want to see basically what's going on with the panel box when I first get here. Basically, nothing's running. I look at the temperatures here. This is the bullseye temperature, which is right here. This is the high temperature, and that's the low temperature. So later on, I come back. This is normal. These are arc fault breakers. That's normal. But later on, I come back, and 2 or 3 more times I'll come back, and I take a look at these temperature readings. Take a look at the breakers that are non-arc fault breakers, and look for heating. Look at the main lugs. Look for any heating in the lugs. Look for any kind of overheating. That type of stuff.
You want to move a little bit away from the noise?
Okay, so again, this is just a benchmark reading. You already know all the window screens are missing, so they need to install all of the window screens. And there are some windows that are difficult to open. One of these really difficult up here.
Okay.
So basically, all the windows around the structure are missing window screens. This is a missing piece of flashing right here. See the metal flashing? You can see it there. You can see it there, but it's missing right here, just at the front of the structure. So that flashing right here needs to be installed at the front of the structure. This is a mortar joint over here on the west side of the house, and it's open, so they need to fill that mortar joint with the sealant. Or mortar, either one, right along here. So you need to fill that mortar joint. This is one of your downspouts. Now, this is not something that the builder is required to do, but I always put this in the report because here in Texas we have expansive clay soils, and if you don't have good even moisture, then it can cause some differential movement of the foundation. And there is a little bit of cracking going on, and we'll get to that in a minute. But in the report, I can illustrate. So these should be extended out. The farther away from the structure, the better. So I'll actually draw where they should go, and that will help stabilize the foundation. This is the water pressure. The water pressure, the range is 40 to 80, and you're a little bit above 60, not quite 65, about 63 psi. It should be okay. It's a fairly big house. Sometimes what you see with the pressure that's a little bit lower, if you have a big house and you've got a bunch of people in the house, and you got the dishwasher going, the sprinkler system is going, the clothes washer's going, the sink is going, all these things are going, and you go to take a shower in your master, and the water's just not coming out very good. So that's something you can experience. We can't say that for sure yet, but if the house is full, that could happen. They can raise the water pressure at the pressure reducing valve in the garage, preferably, I like it closer to 80. It's going to give you better pressure throughout the house. And the reason I'm saying that is, like with the sprinkler system, they've got zones, right?
Yeah.
10, 12 zones, whatever it is. And the reason they have them zones is because there's not enough pressure to lift up all the everything at once. So they got to do one and do the other. Same thing with inside the house. If you don't have enough pressure and you get a bunch of supplies being used, you may not get good flow.
How easy is it to improve this, to change it?
Oh, it's super easy.
Okay, just go to the access panel there.
Yeah, I can let me pause.
No, that's fine. No.
Oh, okay. This is again another downspout needs to be extended, and then again more window screens. All these screens need to be replaced. This is missing a vent hood, and also the exhaust here is missing. That vent hood, that's for the exhaust, the kitchen exhaust right here. Hopefully they know about that. This is a downspout, again, to be extended. This is another window. So all the windows in the back, missing window screens, all of these. There's another downspout to be extended. This is here the back patio. They've got some holes in the mortar here. This is really just cosmetic, but they just need to fill these holes in the mortar right here by the door. You can actually see them in the picture right there, and there. So it's just for cosmetic reasons. They need to put some mortar in those holes. This is showing a little bit of structural movement right here. This is a little cracking of a mortar joint. You can see some of the mortars come loose here, right along here. So that they can do what's called repointing. They can repoint that mortar joint right up in here. This is really just for me. They will be in the video, but not in the report. Manufacturer's labels. That's for when I look at the panel box. This is your exhaust coming off of your water heater, and this flange here, this collar is not affixed to the structure here, and there's a big gap around that. So they need to fix this with mortar, or put a little piece of brick in there and mortar it. Then they need to push this collar back in place and then seal around it.
What's this called?
This is your exhaust for your water heater. This is right here, but near the condensers. This is on the single bay garage, and this looks like maybe it's temporary, but this piece of trim is not fully, it's not long enough. It just kind of.
This is the top type garage, right?
Yeah, this is the single car. That's the single car. So they need to put a longer board here, and they need to caulk and paint it. This is me testing. There's two tests we do for the garage door. We do a pressure reverse. That's what this piece of wood is here for. And then we do a test of the electronic eye. So I'm going to play this video here so you can see these two tests, and you'll have it in the audio or in the recording here. So when it hits that wood there, that door should reverse.
Okay.
And so you'll see here in a second, it'll hit it. And then so safety pressure reverse. So that's one of the safety features we check, and then we'll check the electronic eye here in a second. And then put my foot in front of the electronic eye, make sure it works, and that didn't work. So both those tests worked fine.
So one of the things I noticed when I look at this from outside, I see a light gap somewhere around here.
Yeah.
Is that normal?
Yeah, that is normal.
Not a big deal. Okay.
Yeah, it's normal. Yeah. Yeah. You can get some better weather stripping and make it better.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's not something the builder will do.
Okay. So the same thing for the two-car garage?
Yep, I must do that right now. Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Passed?
Yeah, it passed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The button's way over here, so I had to walk back. That's the pressure test right there.
Why did you stop?
I had to hit the button again,
Oh, okay.
and then put my foot in the electronic eye. The button's right by the door there. This is one of your locking latches that on the single bay they disabled it by putting a screw in there, but here they forgot to do that. So they need to put a screw and a bolt in there.
To disable it?
To disable it, yeah.
Why would you want to disable it?
When you have a garage door opener, they need to disable that because people will lock that in place and they'll forget, and then they go to open up the garage and it tears apart the garage.
So why is it there if it's not required?
It's a recommendation by the manufacturer of the garage doors.
That you
Disable
screw it down?
it,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
So it's meant to be permanently disabled?
Yeah, it's meant to be disabled once you install the garage. Yeah, they can put a bolt and screw right here. Sometimes they'll drill a hole and put it through here.
So you're saying it's on one side, it's not on the other side?
Yeah, this side is disabled in the single bay. On the double bay, it's not.
So it's just one per garage door?
Yeah, one per garage door. One's right, one's wrong.
Okay.
This, I don't know what this is. Has a builder talked to you about this? It looks it's something caustic. Because you don't just see that. That's not a bad mix of cement. And you can see something got poured here. Something caustic got poured there. So this is probably going to get worse. I think it's going to continue to get worse. So they need to repair this, which may require them putting a Padres coat covering the garage floor, which would look nice because cosmetically would look nice. But this doesn't look good. It needs to be fixed.
Okay.
And that's pretty deep hole right there.
So deep hole.
Yeah.
Garage floor.
Yeah, something got poured there. Something caustic. Something, maybe acid or something. Because that doesn't look good.
Okay.
That's just where it's located right there. You can see it's pretty bad.
Okay.
Okay, this is by the front door. Let me spin this around. Okay, this is a loose brick at the front door window, at the sill. That brick needs to be repaired. You can actually jiggle it.
Really? This is by the door.
By the front door, yeah. Right there to the right side. And this is some structural movement, some cracking at the front. There's two locations, both on the right side, but you see the separation right there, going through there. And then you can't really see here, there's another separation there. So both those need to be repointed, here and then here. And this is also upside down. Oh, no, it's not. Okay. Let me pause. This is going to be easier to show you, probably.
Probably just get into, I don't know, I'm thinking maybe I should just leave it out and talk about it later so that I can monitor that, but we'll see.
Yeah, once they get up with their ladder, they can see it's a pretty good sized gap there. Okay, so this is you're at the back of the house here. You'll see here later on where there's adhesive here. Mm-hmm. The adhesive is missing, so this is called the starter shingles, and so it looks like they didn't install the starter shingles right, because when they're installed right, I'll show you what they're supposed to look like. There should be adhesive here
at the beginning of the shingles.
Yeah, right? At the starter shingles. Yeah. So like now, I can lift it with my fingers. Now they're very rigid right now because they're brand new. But as the roof starts to age, they're going to become more flimsy, more subject to being windblown. And so if this kind of goes to that saying that the chain's only as strong as its weakest link. So if the wind gets up here, gets underneath there on a windy day, then I could get up far enough under there and lift these shingles, and you could have the roof fail. And it would probably happen years down the road, 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the road. This is just more of the same.
Same place?
This is all of it. I've got multiple locations.
Okay. So did you check everywhere along the starter shingles?
I didn't check every linear feet, but I checked multiple locations. There's a sampling. So you'll see here where the adhesive is present, but it's not sticking. I'll show you that in a minute. So all along this whole back section is like that. And so generally, when you see something like this, this goes to workmanship. So if you were taught something the wrong way, then you repeat it the wrong way. If you're taught something the right way, you repeat it the right way. So generally, if you find something once, you'll find it multiple times. Not always, but generally. Okay, this is flashing that has not been nailed in place. So this should be nailed flat. This is right above us here, right up there.
Okay, right above the recording, above the.
Yeah, this one, right below the windows here.
Windows, the
back
windows. Yep. Yeah. So this is accessible from the.
This is flashing. Patio. That needs to be nailed flash.
In the patio.
Flat. You could get wind-driven rains up underneath there, and then get water intrusion into the house. So that needs to be nailed flat.
Can you get rodents through there as well, potentially?
No, because probably not. It's too small for that. No, it's not that big. There's a better picture.
So that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, that all need to be nailed in place. A lot of times people will get water intrusion into the house from things just like this. Okay, so here, this is what the other shingles. Remember I showed you? See how you can see the adhesive here?
Okay. Is that all the adhesive they used?
Yeah, and that's normally
inch or two.
Yeah, that's normally fine. It goes across the whole length. But what happened probably it was that they probably wasn't that cold the day they installed the roof. Do you know when they installed the roof? It's probably been a while ago. So here the adhesive is present, but it's not bonding. It's not sticking together. You can see it's trying to stick, right along here, and then when it's shiny like this, it wasn't sticking. So what they're going to have to do, along with the shingles that don't have adhesive, they're going to need to go around the whole perimeter of the structure, and they need to add additional adhesive here. And they need to do that on a day when it's above 80 degrees. This is something you want to probably do in March. They do it now; it's not going to stick. They also can heat. They can heat the roof. That's an option, but it'd be better to add adhesive. There you go. You can see more of it, and that's actually right above the windows.
This is still at the back.
Yeah, this still at the back. This is another area. Adhesive is not present. Not present. This is an uncovered nail head that needs to be covered up. No, any exposed nail head should be covered with a sealant. Actually, that should have been underneath the shingle there, but sealant's fine. This is a torn shingle. This is on the top of the roof. This is all around this one vent here. Over there on the west side. They've already marked the roof. There's been damage to the roof, probably from toe boards, stuff like that. So they need to go and preferably replace those shingles. Sometimes they'll just try to cover them with a sealant or with a roofing tar. And I'd be fine if that was at the back of the house, but this is right at the front garage. You can see those holes when you walk up, and so if they just patch them, it's not going to look right. So preferably replace these shingles. That's in the torn shingle. That's just at one of these ridges back here. I think this is the video. Okay, so this is the video. So I inspected the whole roof, and after I got done, I took a video of it so you can see the whole roof, everything that I looked at. You'll see a little. It's only a minute and a half long, so we'll play it so we got it in this recording. It's a good quality shingle, so it's not a cheap shingle. It's a quality shingle.
It's just not put together well, right?
Yeah, there's some, and there's almost always roofing. Almost every single, like 99% of houses have some little roofing things. Some of the pitches are pretty steep, so I kind of have to be careful and move kind of slow, especially if I'm holding the camera.
Are there any large enough holes to worry about rodents on the roof?
Well, a rodent could get through any of these plumbing vents.
I mean, just from poor installation. I mean, not necessarily.
No, not from no. But if you want to protect yourself from rodents completely, with the stops, I'll see if I got a vent I can show you here. You can actually have like a mesh put over top of these, and then put little screws to hold it in place, and that way rodents can't get in here, because a rodent could technically climb up into this vent here. This goes into one of your sinks in the house, and then go down into the sink and come out that way. So people will cover these with a little mesh.
So this is not something the builder would.
Builder won't do that. No, but that's something you could have somebody come up there, and you probably get a handyman to do that for, probably a couple $100 or something. And if you're really worried about rodents, eating a snake too, couldn't get in there. Snakes will get on roofs. You're not near a water source. I don't think there's, what's behind here? Nothing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually you don't see snakes around unless there's like a water source, a pond, a lake, a river.
There's a water source.
What, a ways away or close?
Maybe 5-6 houses away.
Yeah, you may get. Yeah, anytime you're near a water source like that, you get a higher probability of snakes and rats and any kind of animal that is going to be. They need a drink. Let me start this again. It's almost done.
While we're still looking at this, did you check out irrigation?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, irrigation looks fine. Yeah, I tested the sprinkler system too.
Oh, well, what about the grating?
Yeah, grating looks good. Yeah. Yeah. And they have some ground drains on each side, additional drainage, which is good. Okay, this is just another look at the panel box. This is when I first got into the inside of the house. I had been here for a little while, maybe an hour and a half, and so when I took another look to see what was going on, and it actually looks better. Temperatures have dropped down. I think I've got one more look. So the panel box looked fine, and I did a thermal scan of the inside of the structure and it looked fine. This is missing a sticker. There should be a sticker here per the code that states the diameter of the vent and the length of determination. So we want to make sure it's not too long.
So that's part of the things that they
there should be a little red sticker on there with the diameter of the vent and the length of the determination through the roof or through the wall or whatever. This is in the utility room when I had the heat on, and that vent that doesn't blow very hot in there. You'll see the next reading I think is 100 and something, so it's about 20 degrees cooler.
Differential.
Yeah. Well, this is not the differential. This is just the heat blowing at the register.
Okay.
The differential is something we talk about with the air conditioning, but there is a difference between this and inside the house.
So what does that mean in terms of when it's?
Well, it's probably that maybe something inside of there blocking it, or something kink somewhere. The ducting looked fine to me, but this is in the utility room, so it's probably not going to affect you too much.
But what needs to happen from a builder's perspective? They need to come back and make changes to that.
They'll probably try to do some balancing. It's right here, this vent right here. So this is when I first got into the house at 102. So it's about.
And the temperature was set at what?
I had it at 85.
So this is overcompensating. This is like
that was under. This is what it should be more like this. Actually, the heat was just getting going. It should be more like 105, 110, and it does get up to there. C103. This is because I had to turn the heat on, so it got up there. But between 102 and here, and just in there, 84, whatever, it's almost 20-degree difference. This is the microwave, and this is just to show you the microwave does work. I tested the microwave. This is the refrigerator outlet. That should be GFCI. They made that required in January of 2016 that these be GFCI protected, and it's not GFCI protected.
For where you plug the refrigerator?
Yeah, where you plug the refrigerator.
Would you have access to? Will you provide the reference to the code in the?
No, he won't. They won't need that. They'll know. He knows what's code, what's not code. Now, every city is different, but I'm licensed by the state of Texas by TREC, and so I follow their standards. Their standards are strict.
So where else do you need to have GFI?
Everywhere else they have it, it's fine. Yeah. Now, this is what I've been told by an electrician. If you're installing a brand new refrigerator, then having this GFCI is fine. But if you're going to install an old refrigerator that's like 20 years old, then you don't want this to be GFCI because it's going to constantly trip. It's going to trip constantly. So if you're going to put a new refrigerator, then you want to upgrade it to GFCI,
which is what we want to do.
Yeah. So upgrade to GFCI.
Hi, Sudha. What's up?
This is a missing exhaust. They haven't installed that yet.
Mm-hmm. This
needs to be installed here.
Mm-hmm.
This is your cooktop, showing the cooktop does work.
Okay.
This is missing. This is assistant air for that. Probably when they install that, they'll install that.
Okay.
But that should both come at the same time. This is just assisting, like secondary air for the, because it's going to be over 600 CFM, which you probably requested that, or is that just coincidence?
In terms of the vent hood?
Yeah, did you request a 600 CFM or greater? Okay, so they probably just installed it. That's great. It's much stronger.
But they haven't installed anything.
They haven't installed anything yet.
They're saying it's going to be a 600. That's going to be.
Well, I know that because this is here.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, if that wasn't there, then I know that would be less than 600 CFM. As soon as that goes to 600 CFM, they've got to install this. It's called makeup air.
Okay.
Makeup air vent. And so when this kicks on, they say there's not enough air in the room, so this pulls air from outside. Okay. Also, when they install this should have a filter on it.
Okay.
So if they install it without a filter, then that's wrong because this is pulling in air from outside. And so if you don't have a filter on that, you're going to be sucking in allergens and bugs and whatever else can get sucked in there. So you want that. That needs to be installed with the filter. Now this is the dishwasher. This is the first reading. It hadn't gotten hot enough yet. I did take a reading later on. This is the kitchen sink. I did fill both the sinks up with water. I turned on the disposal, pulled the plunges at the same time to overload the system, look for leaks, and there were no leaks. Good. This is very loose. Did you tighten up? Did you see that?
Yeah.
This has been installed now. Okay, they just installed this. So that was missing here, but they haven't now installed it. That's what he was doing. Okay, so here's the temperature. This isn't getting hotter, 110. That's more like what you want to get. This is this door here, and you have it doesn't close unless you lock it. Yeah, so it needs to be, they need to adjust it. So if you don't like this, it should be smooth. So it's not operating smoothly, basically. This is another bathroom. Lots of fixtures are loose. You see up to the angle?
Mm-hmm.
That's from me tilting it. That's loose at the sink to the right of the tub. You know about this?
Yeah.
The shower's not installed yet completely. And then look, this is also very loose. You see it move?
Okay.
So that needs to be tightened up. Okay, so they've got these access panels, which are great, but 2 of them are covered up. And so the motor for the jacuzzi is somewhere over here because I can't see it down there and I can't see it down there. One of the things that we're required to do as home inspectors, if there's access like this, is we're supposed to verify that there's no leaks underneath there, and also that it's bonded. There's a bonding wire going from here, from the motor to the electrical panel box.
What do you mean bonded?
Bonded is like grounding.
Okay.
It's kind of like grounding. Just basically taking a wire from that motor and taking it back to the panel box, to the grounding bonding system. Also, it doesn't work. The jacuzzi didn't come on. Okay. So it was not operational. That's just showing it's not working. I just because the builder liked it, he checked that I did test this to make sure that this worked. This is for the tub, and it did work, and it was on, and it still did not. This tub still did not come on. This is the fireplace. You've got a switchable fireplace, meaning you hit this switch to turn on, and it did not come on. So they need to make sure that's operational for you. This is another loose fixture in the powder bath down on the first floor. That fixture needs to be tightened up. Same thing here, another loose fixture needs to be tightened up. That's upstairs. Then this is the second floor heating. See, we're getting up to 118 here.
Okay.
So that's more like it. 115, that's good. This is one of the windows that's very difficult to open. It's hard, it's super hard to get open. The other ones, I guess they're going to be out here to adjust it. So they need to go adjust all the windows. And this one, also, not only could you not adjust it, it won't lock in place.
Yeah.
You can't lock it.
Did you check all the windows or just that? Okay.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah.
And the rest are fairly
The rest
good
of
enough?
them, rest of them locked in place fine. Yep. And they're fairly smooth. They can be adjusted. Okay, this is an attic area up in one of the bedrooms, and they've got construction debris in here.
Okay.
This one, I don't know if you can see, it's got nails sticking out.
Oh.
So that stuff needs to be removed. We don't want somebody going up there and stepping on that nail, or you or a kid or whoever. So that debris needs to be removed. That's where it's located. This is a cracking.
I am concerned about this cracking.
This is pretty minor. The only one that gives me a little bit of concern is that one. These other things,
I'm thinking, well, if there's a concern, if there's a crack before we're moving in 6 months or so when the house is built, what's it going to look like 2 years from now?
Well, if you stabilize, if you extend out those downspouts and you have a drip irrigation around the foundation, if you run that and you keep the soil very, very moist and stable, you control the moisture, then they won't get any worse. They're not going. The only reason I'm concerned about this is that looks like a framing issue, as opposed to just common cracking, because it's separating and it's deflecting. So this is very flat and even.
Are you saying that there is drip irrigation around the foundation?
Yeah, well, they don't have it marked on the panel on the sprinkler system, but I did check it, and I walked the perimeter, and I could hear it. You can hear it in the ground going. Okay. And I also checked it out the thing.
I know there are some in the flower.
Yeah, there's drip.
I didn't know about the
flower bed is drip irrigation. The front right away is drip irrigation, and then the foundation is drip irrigation, and then the trees up front are bubblers.
Okay. Do you have recommendation as to how you do all the foundation watering stuff?
Well, this is what you can do. I'm not sure if they do this in McKinney. They probably do though. In Frisco, where I live, if you call the city, that you can do what's called an irrigation audit, and it's free, completely free. They come out and they take a look at the sprinkler system and they set everything for you. Okay. They know how long the foundation should go for. They know how long the trees should go for, how long the grass can go for, so they know how to set that up. So I would call the city and see if they could do if they do an irrigation audit, and they probably do because McKinney's a nice city. If not, in my report there will be links to how to water the foundation, that kind of stuff. And that's just where that's located. This is for the this is a bedroom. West bedroom upstairs is missing there's a missing cover there.
Okay.
Cover plate right there.
Yeah.
That's the southwest bedroom or southeast bedroom. Okay, so this is your number one furnace. This is the filter. The filter is clean. It's a 4-inch filter. You can change them only twice a year.
Is this the way it looks right now?
Yeah, it's clean right now. Yeah.
It is clean, but is it the way it is pulled out?
Yeah. You just pull it out like that.
No, right now is this exactly how?
Oh no! I pulled it out.
Oh, you pulled it out.
I pulled it out to take a picture. Yeah.
Okay.
So then you got this. It's a 4x16x5.
Okay, so it fits all the way in.
Yeah. You slide it in. And
Does it have a cover?
Yeah. There's a little door right here.
Okay.
And you close it, and then there's little things here. You clap it and put it in place.
Okay.
Okay, so here they're missing a float switch on the drain pan. Now, some cities, they don't require that, but I put it in the report because you got 2 air handlers above the second floor. And so what can happen is the primary here can get clogged.
Water goes in the drain pan. There's no way to split it off. If it's filled up,
and then it floods the house. Yeah. So if the builder won't do it, you can do it yourself. It's for about probably $125, $150 per unit. So
have someone come do it?
Yep, for about $300 you can protect your house. Well worth it because I've seen tens of thousands of dollars done damage by an air handler.
Is that going to be connected to
this first one?
This, or is it going to be connected to the power source that powers this? You know the way.
Oh yeah. Well, there's 2 options. They can put a switch here, which I don't like as much because that allows it to get to the pan to begin with. I like what's called a condensate switch. So on the primary, which is this one right here, the primary, you put a condensate switch on there. So as soon as that gets clogged, before it gets a chance to go anywhere, it turns off the system. If you put it on the pan, so the primary gets clogged, and then the pan starts filling with moisture, but it's not quite enough to drip to the outside of the house, and it never gets to this float switch. It kind of just sits below the float switch, and over time it rusts the pan out, and it still floods the house. So that's why I like.
So this one here is called a condensate switch?
Yeah, primary.
It should be a primary.
Primary condensate switch. That's what I would do. That would be a better option than the float switch. If the builder does install one, he's going to put a float switch here because it's cheaper.
It's easier too.
And easier and cheaper. Yeah, but they both will turn off the unit. But here's the problem. I've seen these float switches become defective.
Okay.
Or they get installed wrong.
Do you know if the city of McKinney requires it?
Most cities Frisco is just now requiring it. I don't think McKinney is requiring it.
Okay.
But I'm going to put it in the report regardless, and then we'll see what the builder says.
From your experience, is there somewhere on the internet one can go to take a look?
Yeah,
at
you can go to
code,
the city of McKinney,
and you'll see the code.
Yep.
Yep.
They'll have a search engine in there, and you can just type in there. It may pull up a bunch of information. You may have to do a lot of reading, but yeah, you can find out anything the city requires. And the city is different than this. I'm licensed by the state, so it's different.
Okay.
Also, one thing they forgot here: this needs to be insulated with a black insulation because this will condensate, and in the attic it's hot in the summertime, and this condensation will drip onto the flooring here, and which could attract rodents, insects, and could cause damage. So they need to install insulation on this primary, preferably on the secondary too, because if it starts going here, it's going to condensate here too. So this is a picture of the burner compartment on that first unit, and then this is a video. This is basically so you can see it operating. Nice blue flames, that's what you want, nice blue flames. And that's just a little short video of that unit.
Is this typical?
Yeah, that's mastic.
Looks
that's
shabbily done.
No, that's how it's supposed to be. Okay. Yeah, it's just called mastic. Oh, I ran it again. Let me finish.
Is it covered?
Yeah, it's got a cover. I took the cover off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so this is your second unit. Same thing, no float switch and missing insulation on the condensate lines.
Same story.
Yep. This is the temperature of the heat at the unit. That's number 2 unit. And this is the filter, which is clean. This is a video, I think. No?
No.
I thought it was a video.
So nice blue flame as well.
Yeah, nice blue flames, and probably the next one's the video then. Yeah, there we go. Yes, we want nice blue flames. This is the third look at the panel box. At this point, everything in the house has been turned on.
Okay.
All the exhaust fans have been turned on, all the electricals turned on, everything in the whole house is turned on. And I take that final reading, and it looked fine.
What would a bad
Bad would be if this temperature was, you started getting temperature here 130, 140. If you started seeing wires, see the wires here?
Mm-hmm.
They started getting this color,
Okay.
like that, hot. Or if you see the main breaker getting hot, or if you see the lugs coming in here getting hot, this is normal. These are just arc fault breakers doing a job.
Why is this yellow on this corner here?
Oh, that's because it's the camera, and something shiny, like a shiny floor or something shiny, it will reflect. It's called reflectance. It's something that the camera sees. It's not heating.
Okay.
This is probably me being picky. These are not straight. So I don't know if you noticed that. This is the second reading on the dishwasher, and so the dishwasher should reach a minimum of 120 degrees. 120 is when it starts killing germs. No higher than 150, because 150 is when it starts melting plastic and cracking crystalware, breaking things. So it never got to 120. So you need to have them probably just an adjustment. They come out and adjust that dishwasher and make sure that it gets at 120 or higher, preferably around 30, 135. This is the fence in the back. I don't know if you may have noticed that. It's not nailed in place. 2 locations. And this is actually broken in the ground.
Okay.
That pole's broken. I'm surprised it's a pretty nice house that they used the wood post, not metal.
So this house that's the fence that they had for the house when it was built about 3 years ago.
Is that what he told you?
I know that the house was built about 2 years ago or what have you, and in some cases they used the wood. I don't know why. Whether it's because the guys can't see it, right?
Yeah.
They don't have the view. Consider that it's metal rod.
Yeah.
On the other side.
Generally, you put the good side. Like if you were to put this fence up for yourself, you'd want to do this. You'd face the good side end
To you, yeah.
to you.
Which is what they did here, right?
Yeah, that's what they did there.
Unfortunately, our house is.
Now in the front though, they'll put it with the good side facing out. So you've got the nice cosmetic look in the front.
Mm-hmm. Which is what they do for.
Yeah, that's a much nicer fence.
But this is fine. Unfortunately for us,
we
came late in the game.
Yeah.
Both our neighbors are already big friends. So
that's a crappy fence. So.
we get.
Yeah, it's not very nice.
I don't know if I can say they have to double it.
Yeah, they can do that. They can double it. Yeah, people do that. Yeah, but it's a pretty expensive house. And I would expect a fence like that, board on board, nice top finish on it, and that's what I would expect.
On this side, right?
And the whole.
I think we've already told us board on board.
These are all, that's a crappy fence. At least they use metal. That's what I'm talking about.
They use metal on this side.
They should have used.
But this is not board on board. The fence on the back is board on board, right?
Yeah, that's board on board.
But this is not board on board.
No.
This is not board on board.
No.
Probably have to go back to the conversation we had.
This one's in doesn't look too good there. The wood's not in very good shape.
Yeah.
But we don't inspect really. I just called it out for safety purposes. You may want to have a conversation with the builder about that.
It's older, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll go back to the sales sheet they gave us. I think they probably told us board on board. Is what
If they did, that's what you want.
So we'll go and check and be sure.
Because this is much nicer. You can see clearly it's a much nicer fence. So that's the board that's broken. This, it should probably be easier to show you this too. Let me pause this best. And that's the last picture. Okay. So that's it. Any questions?
I didn't see a lot